Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Francesco Renna from a MATLAB student ambassador from Politecnico di Bari. And here with me are Donato Stigliano, a MATLAB student ambassador from Politecnico as well. And Alessio Juvara, MATLAB student ambassador from University of Rome, La Sapienza. And today we were going to be interviewing Paolo Rosettani and Gaudeni Francesco, both students at the University Politecnica Le Marche, and also Italian winners of the 2021 MathWorks Minidrone Competition. So we will be holding a competition too at Politecnico di Bari. So we thought that this interview may help with those that are going to participate, knowing from the winner that what they should be prepared for, and maybe even ask some other questions. So yeah, there's that. I think a quick introduction for everybody will be okay. So a general presentation, I guess, from Paolo and Francesco. Who are you? What are you studying at the moment?
As Francesco said, my name is Paolo. I'm from Italy, center-west part of Italy. I study automation and computer engineering at Università Politecnica Le Marche. And with my colleague Francesco, we participate to the MathWorks Minidrone Competition.
Hi everyone, I'm Francesco Gaudeni, and it's really a pleasure to be here today with you. And I would like to thank you for the invitation. And like Paolo, I come from the Marche region, and I graduated in February 2020 in computer and automation engineering. And currently, I'm attending a degree course, a master degree course in UniPM, that is the University Polytechnic of Marche.
How did you found the competition? Where you heard about it?
Actually, everything started from our bachelor thesis. Our teacher gave us a thesis with a topic that we need to design an algorithm to a flag system, actually. But when we started to searching for how to do it, we found this competition on the MathWorks website. So we proposed to our teacher to change a project from the original one to the competition. So yeah.
I have another questions like this. Could you describe the challenge, the various steps, and the purpose of the challenge, for example?
So the aim of the competition is to design a path following algorithm, and this consists of to use the signal from the down facing camera of the drone to look at the line attached on the floor and follow it until the end. And when the drone finds the circular marker, that means you need to land, it just land in it, and you must provide a nice landing. That means all the feet of the drone must stay inside of the circular marker. Before to start this, we looked at all the videos of the MathWorks presentation from May 3. Also, we read the whole manuals for the drone for the program with Simulink. We also look at the example that has been provided by MathWorks. And at the end, before starting programming it, you need to try to fly with Simulink and just to have an idea of how it works, the drone using Simulink.
Okay, so what about the experience with the challenge? Has it been all smooth and easy for you, or has it been like really complicated and a wonderful or nice experience overall?
Sure.
Okay. Well, for sure, it has been a long experience for us because we created our code in the first time at the end of the 2019, and then we resumed development at the end of the 2020 in order to participate in the Naples competition. which has been postponed and then extended to a more international audience, to a larger audience, to become the EMEA competition in which we participated. And in general, I can say that it's been a wonderful experience, not only because we managed to win at the end, but also because we are very proud of the project that we created. Both because we initially had some difficulties with some struggles with the real flight, with the flight of the real Mambo, the proper Mambo, and also because due to the COVID restrictions, we were forced to work separately, and so it was a difficult, and it was not easy. And despite this, we have developed a code that was suitable for both types of flight, the simulator one and the real one. So it was a tough experience for sure, but it was rewarding and satisfying at the end.
Wonderful. Can I ask, why did you start the code in 2019 and then resumed it in 2020? Was it due to the...
Because the first time we wanted to participate in the Charlottesville competition that, if I remember correctly, was in February 2020. And then probably for the coronavirus, it was cancelled. And we created in that time the prototype, the first code. And then for a course in our master degree, we resumed development, and so we make a better version of our code.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, with every student competition comes a funny moment, usually. Did you experience something like that, or all goes well?
I remember one, and it was during when we fly the first time the drone. Because we didn't know that the sensor of the drone was pretty sensible. At the first simulation, the drone just fly until the ceiling so fast that we didn't have time to stop the simulation. So we have a little scratches on the ceiling now on the weight paint.
It's like a war mark, we can say.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the particular way in which you develop your model? The steps that you followed? How did you manage it?
In the image processing part, we use mainly the application color thresholder to generate the parameter to the image cropping, I would say. In the path planning, we use Stateflow, and we try to keep it pretty simple to just keep out the logic for the Mambo movements. Also, we introduced the subsystem with the enable features. That means for keep the code pretty light on the CPU, we just turned off the subsystem with a flag on the enable subsystem type.
Okay, so you use the color threshold and image processing toolbox to recognize the path that was on the ground, basically, while the logic of the drone was implemented using Stateflow, basically.
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
Okay, and the enabled subsystem were used to with the Stateflow output, I guess, and they were enabled only when you needed a basic function, right? Did I guess correctly?
Yeah, mainly it makes sense to use it in the image processing subsystem because the part of image algorithm take more loads on the CPU, so we just use it when a certain part of algorithm is needed. But about the path planning, yeah, we use the the status of output from the Stateflow. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yes. What were the most usable feature, the one you liked the most in the MATLAB and Simulink environment that you used to develop your model?
For sure, what we appreciated the most was the possibility to program according to the model-based design, using the simulator continuously for our simulation instead of testing with the real drone. And this allowed us to save a lot of time and, like we were saying before, to work even well at distance. Because, for example, we could share the screen of our computers during video calls and test together the code. So it was pretty useful, and I can say that the mini drone flight visualization has been our best friend in this project.
Okay. I think I want to ask just a little something about this. I know that when we contacted you, you told us that you've never used Simulink before this competition. So would you say that using Simulink is very beginner friendly? So the toolbox and the documentation were enough for you to understand how to use this kind of programs and toolbox?
Yes, for sure. We find very useful to follow the on-ramp courses, on-ramp for Simulink, MATLAB, and Stateflow. And before starting the development, we follow these courses. And I believe that, like you said, Simulink, MATLAB, and all the MathWorks environment are user-friendly, and maybe at the beginning you have some difficulties, but with the hard work you can easily overcome the problems that you're facing. So you can resolve the path following problem or all other problems that you're facing with the MathWorks within the MathWorks environment.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
One thing that I want to ask you, that for me is very useful for the participant, is if you have any kind of tips, any kind of suggestions that you would say to something new to the mini drone competition, and what kind of work they would have to do to be successful in it, to aim at the top.
First of all, you need to be careful during the first flight, or you just mark out all your ceiling. Then we discover that it's better to avoid to use the matter function blocks and instead to use the Simulink blocks. Then we advise to keep the code pretty simple, since when you try to run it on the MATLAB software in your computer, it looks pretty fast. But when you compile it and deploy on the drone, it may happen that the CPU of the drone cannot really run it. I mean, it can be pretty slow.
Yeah, the performance is not that good on a part of the CPU, maybe. So I guess that everyone that wants to participate to the challenge should really listen to these tips. And maybe I have a question that is connected to this, maybe. So what strategies did the other teams that you faced in the competition used? Like, who did you face first of all? And then what kind of strategies did they use? Were they similar to yours, or did they use something different?
Okay. We face teams from various parts of the world, England, India, South Korea, and from prestigious universities such as Oxford, Imperial College of London, SKKU of Seoul, or the Indian Institute of Technology. And some teams have used a similar approach to ours, while others have used a different one, for example, in the programming technique. like in the use, like Paolo was saying before, of MATLAB functions instead of Simulink blocks like we did. And I like the fact that some teams managed to create a Stateflow diagram for the path planning block that was maybe easier to understand visually and with fewer lines of code than ours. So I appreciate that.
Okay, so there were pretty different strategies, approaches to the challenge.
Yes, for sure.
Would you suggest participation in a student competition like the Minidrone to other students, and why?
Okay, of course, sure. The Minidrone competition, the MathWorks Minidrone competition, was the only MathWorks challenge in which Paul and I participated. But I do think that they all have in common a characteristic that is that we really appreciated. That is to be able to know, to understand the way of thinking of students from different parts of the world, and to actually compete against them. And moreover, I do believe that these competitions are very useful, because a complex system like such as that of a drone, can only be truly understood if you work on it, and if you make mistakes on it, working with it, like you do during the development of the project for the Minidrone competition. So it's definitely a yes.
Wonderful.
How did you find about the paid position of the MATLAB student ambassador, and what does these jobs consist of?
2 years ago, I attended a MATLAB webinar, and the speaker spoke about MATLAB ambassador position, and I sent an email to receive more information, and then I sent a curriculum, I did the interview and so on, and now I'm ambassador for 2 years around. Just it.
Yeah, I actually got introduced by Donato to the job, and I started in November 2020, if I remember correctly. And basically, our job consists in using the social spaces like Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram, of course, to promote our the MathWorks environment inside a university. In our case, it's the Politecnico di Bari, of course, in Alessio's case, University of Rome. And apart from that, we usually organize an event once a month, which can be a seminar, like an introductory course to MATLAB, or even a really specific one about a particular toolbox. And I think that's it, basically. Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, we want to try to create a university community that helps in solving some problems and giving information about MATLAB.
Yeah, I will say that also networking and helping student association and so on, it's a very important part of our work, because make us to be really helpful to people that want to understand, want to use MATLAB proficiently. So that's a way in which we can operate and create the community that Francesco and Donato talked before.
What's a MATLAB student ambassador do, actually? I mean, what does this job consist of?
So basically, our tasks are to use the social medias to promote our events, but also publish news and articles about the MathWorks environment. And we do that so that more people can be introduced to this environment and work together as a community, as we were saying before. And because one of the great points of MathWorks is the community that is formed around it. So when you have a question, there's a 99% chance that somebody had that question before you, and so maybe someone answered it already, like when you search about it on forums. And I mean, that's just what we do. So we use those social medias to engage more people and introduce them to the world with seminars and events.
And what is the thing that you like most about your job, that you love maybe about your job?
The thing that I like the most is the possibility to sharpen other people's abilities about MATLAB, but at the same time sharpen my ability. Because when you teach, you also learn, and that's the key point of this kind of experience. That's the real value for me, and also the contact with people, just talking and stay together, doing something that you like. So it's cool, I think.
And did you achieve any new skill during this job?
Yes, a lot. Because when I started, I know little about code generation. Then, hearing from some student clubs that they had some problem with code generation, with some target, and so on, I decided to try to know something more about that in order to help them. And then I finished that now I know a little bit of code generation, and I can do even medium complex tasks about it. That it's something that you do along the job, and that help you very much, because you know something that you didn't even know that exists before. This kind of problem was asked from student clubs.
Yeah, I learned a lot of things too. I was actually, I have to say, an electrical engineer student. I actually graduated 2 months ago in my major degree. And in our course, Simulink is used a lot, but MATLAB is a little bit less used. And of course, you know the basics because you need to get introduced to the Simulink environment, but I didn't know how to use it properly, I would say. And actually doing with my job, I actually learned a lot of secrets or a lot of little tricks, tips that helped me, and now I'm just using them and teaching them to new students as well. So I think that I can say that I learned a lot of things with this job. Yeah.
But for me, it's quite different because I'm shy, and this job makes me overcome my limits in that way. Um, I tend to think that after every live event, I'm less shy. I use MATLAB ambassador position to improve my my limits.
Thank you so much, guys.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I think that if you don't have any more questions, guys, I think that this can wrap up the interview. So thanks to Paolo and Francesco for being here, and
You're
thanks
welcome.
Alessio and Donato as well, of course. Okay, and just one last thing. If anybody listening to this interview was interested in applying for the MATLAB Ambassador program or in one of the competition, we will have a lot of links in the description below, so you can check them out to discover about how you can do to enter this kind of competition or programs. So thank you guys.